Hello. Hello and welcome back to Take Refuge 3D, where I thought we'd just have a little play around and make a robot in Plasticity, and then maybe go and optimize it in Blender. So, as you can see, I've got Plasticity on my screen here, and welcome to the first viewer. I hope a few more come along. So I've got this concept artwork. So I think if I bring this on the screen, it's just obviously a robot concept. I'm not going to necessarily do it exactly as that. There's quite a lot of details in there and stuff, which is a bit much for just a stream, but we'll see how we get. We'll start working on the base shapes now. So I might just make this small, and we'll start working. We'll go into front mode by pressing 1 on our keyboard. And we'll crack into, let's just start like working on this head area. So I'm going to get a sphere and just pull it up. And we'll just confirm that. And I think we want to go into right mode. And this would be front, right. Yeah, okay. And we'll just give this a slice down the middle. Or maybe a little bit. We'll get a line over here and we'll slice down here. And maybe take that back a few steps. Maybe we want a little bit more space, but I don't want it to be a full semicircle. So, and we'll just C to cut. Okay, and then we can select that and delete it out. So we've got the startings of this face here. And what I really want to do is I want to build up my primary shapes before we start working on any details. So we'll crack on. Let's get a square. Hold on. Actually, we want to rotate this around. Rotate Z 180. Okay. And we'll bring that to the front. And we'll get a square. Control 1. And we're just going to pull that out there. So welcome to any new viewers. I've got a few concept arts here, and we'll work on getting some of these elements in at least. I think we'll get at least primary and second shapes. I don't know how much of these sort of greebles and details will go, and I'm just going to have a mess around and see how we go. We kind of want this backpack kind of item. And actually, first of all, we'll get rid of that square. And if I go up and have a look at this guy, I think we want to pull this back a little bit. And then if we get a spline curve from about here, something like that, and then we're going to pull this down, and we'll join these two together. And I want that to be touching the edge. Okay, and then we can pull something down like this. Actually, let's see if we can pull it along here. And I don't know if this is going to work. We might have to start again. But we'll join those two together and we'll try and... Oh, yep, there we go. We got a shape there. That seems to work. And we can mirror that. And we're getting somewhere. That's for sure. I'll get rid of that curve. I'll just hide it for now. And let's see what happens if we loft these two and then try and use that. Actually, we might need to use this here. We'll get rid of that, Shift X. And trim that off. And let's see what happens if we join these two together. There we go. And can we merge all of these together? QQ. Let's try one at a time. Yep, that worked. So let's get rid of this curve for now. Good morning. It's late at night here in Australia. Eduardo, how are you today? And we'll just then try and join these two together. QQ. Is that going to work? Yep, there we've got it. A nice sheet there. And we've got some, I don't know, some shading errors. So maybe we'll try and I don't know if it matters too much. No, we'll just go back a couple of steps. Okay, so let's try and maybe if we get rid of that, we can merge these two together. It might not like that. Okay. So we loft those and we just want to get this curve in here. Just bring it along here and use that as a guide, hopefully. And I don't think it likes that at all, so we'll get rid of that. Did you have a problem with the radial menu? Try to drag files into the viewport, but it's still not working. Hey Medler, so when you have the radial menus, they don't. You have to assign them to a hotkey. So if you type F on your keyboard and type in radial, they should show up down here. So I don't know if you followed the tutorial or you got them directly off the Patreon, but you should just drag the JSON straight into the viewport, and then you have to assign a hotkey. So for example, for this one, with the modeling actions, I've assigned Alt-A, okay, like in Blender. So if I go Alt-A, it'll bring up the radial menu. So you grab, and then I can go into all of these different ones that I've chosen. So Alt-A, what was this? Viewport. What did I just press? Toggle overlays. You can change that. Toggle X-ray. Toggle render mode. I don't know what I've just turned off there. Toggle faces. There we go. So so it's not showing. So did you do it from the tutorial or did you download it directly from the Patreon? And what version of Plasticity are you using? So I believe it only works from Plasticity 1.3 onwards. And then it should still work. You have to make sure that if you go to the Plasticity website on the page, you have to make sure all the grammar is correctly as well. If you've done it properly, like if you're missing a comma or a semicolon or something like that, it may not work. So I don't know what I want to do here. Hopefully it'll allow me to join those two. No, it's not. Just give me a second. I'm going to restart Plasticity because this is a bug with the cursor. Okay, here we go. So I'm just having a mess around really today, guys. want to try and... I think this is what we'll do. Using one of these. And then we'll get and we'll join these two together and we'll give it a face. We'll hide that. Okay. Can we join these two together? Yes. Can we join these two together? No. Okay, we'll leave that as is now. And we're just getting our shapes sorted. Let me know if the stream quality is okay, as I'm getting a warning. I think we need to get rid of this again. And maybe get rid of that altogether. And okay. And then we'll pull this down like that. We'll join all of these three together and get a face out of it. We'll delete this face. And now that looks okay. Now, can we join these together? No, it doesn't like it, but we'll keep going. And actually, we'll see if we can make a... Get rid of this one. And we'll see what we can get out of this. I'm hoping it'll just end up working in the end, but we'll have to see. Shift D. Join those together. Is that one curve? Alt F. Okay. Can we join these two together? The Boolean failed. Okay, let's see if we can just join them. Well, I'm not having a lot of luck with this shape. I might try something else. Okay. Well, that's okay. So, why don't we... And then I've got that one there, so we can just duplicate these two. Shift D. Loft those together. join these all together. Ooh, that is not nice. Actually, let's just build some. I'm getting that bug again. I'll just leave it for now. Okay. Okay. Will this work this time? Oh. Alright, I think I'm going to start again with that one. And let's just keep it simple. Let's stick to simple shapes and fillets and bevels because I'm not having a lot of luck there. There we go. And my initial attempt wasn't really working that great, so I'm trying something else. We'll get all of our primary shapes working, and then if we can want to deal with any surfacing later, we can. Okay. So this is starting to look like something. We'll drag that down and drag that out. And we'll scale this up. And then from this, we can drag that up and out like that. And we'll QQ that. And then we can just give this a nice little Actually, we'll do this first. Little chamfer. We'll insert that there. Okay. We'll get rid of that one. Okay. So, I think I just want to just build some shapes, a silhouette, if you will. We'll use this as a temporary construction plane. And we'll get something like that on there. That's fine. Yep. We'll get rid of this construction plane. Okay. So, something's happening. Alright, let's get some of these shapes in the front. So what we really want to do is bring that forward. We can what was it? Like that. Get rid of that curve, get rid of that curve. And we'll drag this back in to about there. Just make sure it's all the way around. And we'll QQ that. Okay, and we won't get any fillets in there yet. We just want to really work with what we've got here. And now that we've got that, we should be able to offset this. And offset it again. And we can pull that in like that. Okay, so now that we've got that, we can pull this guy in like that. And we're starting to get something in here. And I kind of want to nope, that is not good. Okay, we'll try something else there in a moment. I shouldn't focus on too many details when I am trying to get the basic shapes out. So let's work on these arms. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll duplicate that, scale it down, thicken a sheet out like that. And then we can add like a loop cut in here. And we can just fatten that out like that. And pull it out. And then we can start to offset it. Offset it. That can go in. And then we can offset this if it'll let us. And that can come out like that. And this can come out further. No, we can leave that in there like that. And then on the bottom here, let's get a square. And that's not really the bottom, is it? So let's go Control 7 underneath and get a square here like that. Rotate it around. Okay. Let's give these a couple of chamfers. And we're starting to get a shape of some kind. Okay, let's work on let's actually delete one of these and let's rotate. Hold on. Rotate. V for pivot. Actually, let's isolate that. Rotate. V for pivot. Center. And have that around. And then let's just get rid of our isolated. And there we go. Okay, so something in there like that. Connector. So let's just delete that for now and just work on this. O. Pull this down. And the block out's coming along, so let's add a circle here and drag it down on the Y. And scale it down. And we can just pull the whole thing out. Pull it through there. And then B for new body. And Don't know why the construction planes aren't really working. Any ideas why that's slightly off kilter? Anybody? Doesn't matter, we'll do it like that. And we can do something like that. I don't know. Okay. Maybe we can pull. Okay, so here we go. Let's have a go at the torso. Can just drag that in like that. And we can just Alright, that's something a bit weird, but there we go. It is what it is. It will be a massive Engon. And there we go, just sort of moving along with it as we go. And thanks for everybody who's joined so far. We can just sort of see how we're coming along with this sort of guy here, this shape. And maybe this is where we can start to add a little bit of fillets to this part. That did not like that. Ah, I see. Okay, and let's offset that and inset that. So we've got our eye. And will it let me do this? I don't know. Okay. Working on primary shapes. Got to try and avoid working on the details too much till later on. I'm going to try and make that. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Okay. Get rid of this. And are we going to have to do these one by one? Yeah. Okay. So, not following the concept art exactly, but there is some kind of square here. So if we just choose the center. Actually, let's try and choose this as a... It does... Oh, yep. That kind of worked. Or... Yeah, that's more like it. This is really bodgy modeling, by the way, guys. Not following any proper techniques or anything, but we're getting a shape, that's for sure. This is going to cause problems later, but there we go. And then we can put a little doohickey in the center like that. And another one. Alrighty. Cool. Looking good, mate. So... And by the way, guys, Black Friday sale, links in the description. Enon Pro is 30% off on Blender Market. I've also, if you use the code BFW23 on Gumroad, you can get it there as well. And that might be something that some of you find useful. We'll be definitely using that to optimize this later on. Okay, so what happened here? That doesn't have an inside. Okay. Alrighty. So let's mirror this along itself. Let me know, Medler, if you ever get it working for the old radial menus. I'm going to go Control R. Just pull that out like that. Pull that out like that. And then, what kind of shape is this? So let's isolate that. Go into right view and let's try and build a leg. Actually, it's just a bigger circle with some lines. We can go like that. Scale that up. Oh, that's because that's not a... Okay, that's quite a big leg, so let's actually scale all of this down. Scale and V for pivot, and just choose that. And let's move that along like that. That's not exactly what I wanted, so let's start that shape again. Let's just get rid of the curve altogether. Let's maybe just hide these for now. Okay, we've got an arm there. We want the leg to kind of come back and forward and down. Okay. So let's start with a circle over here. Duplicate it and scale it slightly. And then let's bring that down like that. No, we want it to come forward. Bring that down like that. Like that. Like that. And like that. Okay. So that's not touching, so GG, hold control. And we have the same problem there, GG, hold control. Let's chamfer those. What happens if we trim this? It's not touching still. GG and hold control. GG and hold control. and make sure it hits the curve. Okay. Does not like that for some reason. Can I patch a hole, and let's just thicken the sheet if we can. Where is it? We'll get rid of these curves. Just gonna there we go. Okay. That seems to have worked. Let's just get rid of that curve. Wonder if it'll let us get rid of this edge loop. No. And well, that's really dodgy. Oh well, what we'll do. GG. W for cut. And we need to get rid of that face in the middle. That. Okay. So it's something. And we've got some dodgy faces down here, so we'll try and select all of those and just shit. Mess is what we call this. Alrighty. So let's get a sphere in here. B for new body. Drag it down and out and down. Scale it. Grab it. Okay. And scale it up a little bit. What we can do, we can merge those together. And if we fill it here and here and here, and here, fuck it, I'm gonna leave it as it is. Excuse the language. Okay. And then what we want is something coming off there like that. rotate on scale it on the Y. Okay. So we kind of got in getting something. And then let's make a foot or a shoe. Get rid of this temporary construction plane. And let's just get our little sphere in the middle of there. Beef a new body. Duplicate it. Scale it. And get something like that. And then hopefully we just select all of these. We can start to add a few fillets in there. Hang on, duplicate it, scale it. There we go. Okay, so hello, Trizaden. I've got that very small. Is that Trizaden OG? Hello, how are you? So, as you can see, we're building up a sort of a robot type thing. I'm just using this rough guide as a rough guide and just having a play around today. Alrighty, so let's what are we going to do next? Let's work with this this foot. Let's delete these fillets actually. And let's put a chamfer in here. Let's widen the foot itself. Like so. And maybe at the back, pull it out. And that's okay. Let's make this a temporary construction plane. and mirror that. Okay. I think we need to bring that back in. Get rid of that construction plane. And let's have some fun now. I'm going to get rid of everything that we're going to mirror. And let's just isolate this for a second. Give it a face. And just double check that these will have faces. Yep. Thank you. I don't know about Epic, but it's just a mess around on a Saturday night for me. I don't know where you are, but obviously it's probably the morning in most parts of the world. I'm just starting to add some fillets and details to give this more of a look. Let's just make sure there's fillets on these. I think a nice chamfer will do. There we go. And fillet that. And give this a nice curvy one. We'll make that caudal. And no, that doesn't work. We'll just make that nice and smooth. Okay, so what else fun stuff can we do? Let's put some details in here. So I'm just going to find this edge. We'll take that up to the middle and around like that. We'll just mirror it and make sure they're joined together. We'll rebuild the curve just so it doesn't play up. Okay, but it's rebuilt the rest of that curve. Let's get rid of this curve altogether. These are these curves that I had from early on. Okay, so let us join these two together and rebuild. Okay, there we go. And let's extrude the edge. Let's thicken the sheet. Okay, and then we've got this kind of strange little detail here. Okay, and then what we'll do is we will do a radial array from the center. I think that's a nice number. But before we do that, let us hang on. There are two things here. Yeah, let us do this. So Alt Control click, you can select the next in the line for the edges, and now let's give it a curve, sorry, not a curve array, a radial array from the center. I think that looks like quite cool. And let's get rid of that curve then. And select the main object. Q. No. Q those on. And fingers crossed. they didn't work, did it? No, it doesn't want to. Oh well, we'll leave it as it is. Those can be separate items anyway. Maybe they can be animated somehow later on. I wonder if it'll let us. Let's scale S, V, center, S again. Now I wonder if it'll let us Q. Right, it allowed that. Has this made this a sheet? No. Oh, yep, this could be cool. If it'll let us do it on all of them. No, I want to go back to what I had. Q, Q, Q. And that time it worked. Okay, so now we should be able to fill all of these edges here. Fingers crossed. Ah, it doesn't like it. Let's leave it as it is. We're not going to be here all night. Thank you so much, Trizaden OG. Alright, so let's have a look around here. Let's give this a nice round fillet as well. Well, I don't know if it's going to like that. Let's maybe try. I probably shouldn't have joined those earlier on, but let's just try and get weird with it. And this is horrible, so let's actually let's just get the whole thing and mirror it. And let's get all of these faces. I'm probably going to have to backtrack here, but let's get all of these faces. Like all of them. Shift X. And then let's see if we can add another face there. Or let's see if we can loft these two. Okay. See if we can loft these two. And use that. No. Let's see if we can loft. Use these as guides if we can. doesn't like that at all. So actually, let's get rid of this as well. Let's 4Q. Is it going to let us join it? Yep, that worked. This should work. Yeah, but oh well, good enough. Good enough for what we're doing. Okay. There we go. So we're getting somewhere with it. I kind of want to do some more surfacing work because I quite enjoy that sort of problem solving. Let's give him an antenna. Or her. Is it a her or a him? I don't know. Let's, while we're there, there are two here. Hello, D. Goric Exo. Welcome. Thank you for joining. As you can see, we're just working on some of these concept pieces and just sort of like having a play around, not matching anything identically or anything like that, but just having a mess around and making something cool, hopefully. Okay. So now I'm starting to get a little bit happier with what we've got going on. Actually, while we're at it, let's add some cool details here. So let's add a new body and give that, we'll make this a construction plane and we'll choose that again and we'll radial array from the center and we'll choose this and we'll queue those out and then we'll just, while we're at it, give these all a nice little actually let's select both sides of the loop and make that caudal. Okay, that looks kind of cool. Let's get rid of the construction plane and let's just have a quick look at what we've got without the edges and maybe with a different mat cap. Starting to look like something that I like. It's a bit weird in the beginning because you're not sure because you're just dealing in funny shapes and it doesn't start to come together till it starts to come together. Okay, I just want to have a look here. Let's just make that like that. And can we pull that in? Shift I, select that. Let's get rid of that. Can I? I think I can. Okay. Might not let me do that though. Hang on. So, just playing around, just adding some details. I'm really just eyeballing it and seeing what I like. Let's make this deeper. And then I should be able to fillet this one out a bit more. And who cares about the topology? Because we'll use Enon to fix it. Alrighty, so this looks shady as all shit. So thank you, Azarel77. Welcome. I think I'm just going to leave that as it is. I think I've already spent enough time surfacing that area, so let's take a few steps back and make that fillet smaller. Hold down shift, make it caudal. Okay, that's something that nobody's really going to notice, but who cares? Let's mirror this down the middle. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Oh, I was in the middle of making an antenna when I got distracted. That's what we were doing. Okay, so let's Alt Control there. And give this like a nice weld join. Okay. So that's the arms, the head, the back. Let's just do a little bit of little chamfer on there. And we're going to give an antenna. So let's make this a temporary construction plane. Beef a new body. And we'll array on the Y down to about there. Mirror on the X. Let's get rid of these two. Okay, and I should have done this before I did the arrays. Oh. So if you've got to hold down shift if you want to keep, so you go control, alt, and then hold down shift if you want to select more loops. Okay. Did those join? Yes, looks like they did. Okay, and then we want to add a circle in here, like so. Pull that out. W. Hang on. Select the whole circle somehow. Hang on. Oh, that kind of works. And then let's bring those in like that. Let's get rid of our temporary construction plane. Get a circle in the center there. And just pull that out. Let's just make sure he's in. Continue to pull that out. Control R to add a, hang on, we're going to 4 mode. Control R to add a edge loop. Tab to change the direction. And you'll notice that I'm just doing quite a lot of the same things over and over again to get these much more complex shapes. Degoric Exo, yes. It's Plasticity. Yeah, it's been around for about 6 months. Hello, DJ. Let me see if my Cyrillic is DJ Purgme. Is that right? Purgme. I don't know. My Cyrillic is not too good. Okay. Boom. Okay, so that is quite an extrusion. And what we'll do here is we'll get a little cube. Actually, we can probably just straight up make a cube. And then we'll make a cylinder, a very thin cylinder. And then we can should be able to drag this up. No, we'll start again. Okay, and we've got an antenna, and maybe we'll rotate the whole thing. Rotate V for pivot, center. And then we can mirror it and rotate V for pivot center. Oh, hang on. We just want one of them. Rotate V for pivot center. Okay. Look, it's great software because like the whole concept of it is CAD for artists. So it's a CAD software, so you can use um, parametric, whatever you call it, NURBS modeling, and it's sort of set up very similar control scheme to Blender. So it is makes hard surface modeling really really easy for compared to the other CAD softwares, which I don't know, they make you like put in all your measurements first and stuff. This is a lot more freeform. It's not precise. It's not designed to be necessarily super precise or anything like that, but it is good fun, definitely. Okay, let's just drag a hole through there. Yep. Okay, we haven't really got to the arms yet, but I maybe want to deal with the details at the back here. Let's... Oh, that's part of that, so... Okay. Now, we just add some gentle fillets there. We should be able to get this all the way around. Except for there. Let's just isolate that quickly and see what the deal is. Let's just get rid of all of our fillets. And okay, unisolate that. Okay. So, what do we want to do next? I know I'm adding my fillets way too early, but I'm having fun doing it, so who gives a shit? Yeah, you can snap things to the grid as well, like so you can like snap everything to a grid as well. Like it does have some more precision tools in it, but the main purpose for me is sort of freeform modeling. It's almost like as fun as sculpting or box modeling in Blender, but with a little bit more freedom in terms of curves, because as you can see, instead of like modeling just a curve like this, like what I did before here, was you can just make, well, that's a bad example, but you can just, maybe this will be a good example. So if we get rid of that, hopefully this works. You can add a surface just like that, and it makes life easier. Actually, let's have a little play around. Yeah, exactly right. DJ Pergme, is that right? Yeah. So that's when the main dances start to happen, which is why I made the plugin for Blender, Enon. I don't know, some of you may have heard of it already. Which is, if you stick around, you'll see me using it later on, which is just to optimize these CAD meshes to a point in a few clicks that they are ready for export to texturing software or game engines or whatever without getting artifacts. So it's not like the best retopo, but yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Um, yeah, that's the purpose of it. It's not the best retopology software in the world, but in a few clicks, you'll get a CAD model to be ready for like low poly, high poly workflow and texturing software. A lot of the times, if you export an Ngon mesh and then try and bring it into something like Substance Painter or Marmoset, then you'll start to have big issues with your mesh where the Ngon plugin is designed to sort of get rid of those issues. Bit of shameless self promo there. No, the add-on is for Blender, not for Plasticity. But when you export your OBJ, Ngon OBJ, actually, I'll give you a quick example now. Um, so we'll go into Blender. Okay, should be loading. I'll give you a quick example, but you should be able to see it shortly. Blender's just taking its little time to load, that's all. Okay, here we go. We're in Blender. I'll just delete these objects that I keep lying around. And we'll go and import something in OBJ from, let's try this guy here. It's another robot I made in the past. So this is when you import into Blender. This is what your plasticity mesh will look like. Okay, so we can add a different matte cap to make it look a little bit more cool or whatever. Go with this one. Okay, so it comes in because plasticity uses Y up. As you can see when we're in plasticity, the Y axis is the up axis, and in Blender we use Z up. So this plugin, Enon Pro, which I just released 1.35, okay, what you can do is you can create a low and a high poly mesh. So if we go into wireframe mode and look at this, it's all Ngons. Actually, it might be easier just to activate the wireframe on here. Where is it? Where's it gone? Brain fart. Here we go. Okay, so you can see this is like an Ngon based mesh. So these are big Ngons that don't really translate well to texturing software or game engines. So what we can do with Enon Pro is we can rotate the object to get it back onto the right plane of reality. Okay, and then furthermore, we've got all of these solids that came in from plasticity. Okay, so what we would do is you'd probably have a higher and a lower poly version, but we'll just, for the sake of this, you join your different objects together. So we could go like, just select all of this and call it Control J, and then we could just rename it here. We can say legs. Okay, we go rename with a low poly underset. Let's just duplicate everything first. Okay, we'll invert everything else and we'll just Control J that, and We'll control J that, and we'll call that body. So we've got our legs and our body. This is just a very simplified. I would separate these objects out into being independent objects usually for animation later or whatever. So we've got our name legs here. We'll duplicate our mesh. Okay, and we'll go Control D. Okay, and we'll just hide that one for now. So we can go create low poly. Okay, and we'll rename it legs first. Create low poly. And we got create legs low. Okay, if we take our wireframe off here now, okay, you can see that this is our low poly mesh, and it's all triangle based now. Okay, and then we could go back over here with our, if we look at our modifier stack, it's added a few modifiers. So it's a triangulate modifier, a decimate modifier, and a data transfer modifier. The data transfer, when you click create low poly, it creates a data copy to transfer the normal data, and you'll see what happens when we turn this off. It goes all triangulated like that. So we're actually using the original mesh to get a low poly mesh with the transferred data. Okay, and then we can do the same with this. We could call this, actually we'll go to our other hidden high poly one. So we'll just hide this guy for a second, and we'll hide that, and we'll find our other legs, and this will be our high poly version. Okay, and you can see not a lot has changed, and it's pretty much the same, but now it's triangulated and it's got the correct data. So if we turn our data transfer modifier off, we get the same again. Okay, so then we can just hide that, and then we can take our where is that? We'll just unhide everything. So this should be renamed head whatever, but we've got everything there. And then what you would do is you'd just export all of them together as an FBX, and then you can bring it in to your texturing package to texture. I've done a few different tutorials on this, and if you look on my page, there's a tutorial on how to use it, but it's basically getting from A to B as quickly as possible from the CAD software to the texturing package or to the game engine. So we'll go back to Plasticity and we'll keep working on this guy, but I hope that was informative, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail with this model later on. The link for that's in the description, and there is a sale on Blender Market at the moment with 30% discount. So that's good news, basically. If you wanted to get a discount off it. Okay, so moving along, let's have a look at these legs are still pretty bare bones, so let's hide our arms and work on these legs for now. And we'll get our concept back up on screen. There we go. All right. So I think I'm going to add a sphere in over here. And then we'll add another smaller sphere from the middle. And we'll go B. And we'll Q that together. And then we can bring a fillet in here. Let's fillet this whole edge as well, both sides. Maybe chamfer first. And that is something that is super ugly. So what we might do there is let's just get rid of this altogether. And let's see if we can get a new... That'll do for now. There we go. Getting something appropriate looking. Okay, that's looking a lot better than what it was. And I think for this, we're going to get rid of these fillets here. You just press X to get rid of fillets. And we get our square back. And maybe let's add some kind of sci-fi. Wrong kind of... Let's add some kind of sci-fi type. Intrusion into this. Let's join these two together. J. Didn't like that. Let's start again. Actually, let's make this a construction plane. I still don't understand. I think it's to do with the algorithm. I still don't fully understand why sometimes the construction plane adheres to. Let's keep it simple. I would imagine so. Rhinoceros is also a CAD software, a competitor of Plasticity. I've never used it, to be honest, so I would imagine that Rhino has some similar functionalities. I think maybe even probably Rhino's a bit more mature than Plasticity, so I would imagine it's got even more features. I just really love Plasticity because of its ease of use, and I think that that's what makes it cool for me. Yeah, exactly right. Plasticity is about speed and being artist friendly. So yeah, I have seen a lot of more I guess people who are more familiar with other types of CAD software be very critical of Plasticity, but I think that they're not fully understanding exactly what its purpose is, which is, it says it right on the website. It's CAD for artists. It's trying to bring the best of CAD to people who are used to using things like Blender, or just making it a bit more artist friendly, and generally I think those legs are starting to look all right, but let's do a cut. And we'll use this as a construction plane if it'll let me. What we can maybe do is scale these down. Yeah, my first time trying CAD, I tried SketchUp. If you've ever heard of that software, which is like more like an architectural kind of software, and I really didn't have a good time with it. I disliked it a lot, and it kind of put me off. Somebody gave me like a free license, um, which I think I've still got somewhere. I just haven't got it active. Um, but it was I I guess if I was trying to design, I don't know, like neighborhoods or something, that would be great software. But in terms of, I think that looks kind of cool. We might give that another cut down the middle. Yeah, well, that is why I designed that plugin, which was to sort of like make an easy process between CAD software and game engines, um, or whatnot. So I have had some success and using Plasticity and then Blender, and then it can be a painful process. Um, let's cut that. Oh, hang on. Actually, let's Shift I. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. So let's hold both of these and go Shift I. That's what I want. Let's get rid of these curves. And that did not do what I wanted. So we go. Why won't it cut that? Okay. Let's try one at a time. Do I just need to scale them up? I have no idea what's going on here. Maybe a loop cut? I'm just going to have to use a circle. Yeah, I think it's just, like, honestly, it's just so that people who aren't really, who don't really do 3D can figure something out, and make something quickly. I don't know. I have no idea um, what its purpose is either. Even the materials that are included with it are really shitty. Hi there, Patrick. Good morning to you too. If you welcome, we've been here for a little while now, and we're making this robot based on this concept art. Obviously, not the same. My one's not going to look even nearly as cool as that, but that's that's what we're doing. We're having a play around. Okay, I think that leg part is starting to look okay. Yeah, they did increase the price of Plasticity recently. Okay, so we're getting a one way to test. Actually, this is a good tip. One way to test if your model is looking good is to come and use this matte cap down here, and then you get an idea of the silhouette. So side on, I want to get rid of all of these curves, and we're looking at the silhouette, and we're starting to get a kind of a cool silhouette. So just a little tip if you like wondering if what you're making's looking good. I wouldn't mind it having a little bit more shape, so let's Alt H and have a look at the silhouette again. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a little bit more larger shapes on that silhouette. So thank you for everybody joining here. What am I going to render it in? I haven't even thought that far ahead. I'm going to probably paint it in Substance Painter. Probably render it in cycles, maybe. Okay, so let's give this a little fillet. Okay, and let's mirror that over again. Okay, the forearm and the hand. Let's just block it out. Let's use this. I kind of fucked that up because I don't have a construction plane to use. I can use that. Or let's just duplicate that. Bring it down. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Scale it. And let's just pull that out like that. A little drink of water. And let's get the general shape and size of this right. Just offset that in there. Scale it. Oh, let's pull it out. And how are we going to do a hand? Those hands have got eyes on them. Thumb comes out and around. So we'll duplicate this. Pull that up like that. Thicken a sheet. Okay. Still can't figure out why the construction plane doesn't always honor what I've chosen. It's a bit weird. I don't know if that's a bug. Yeah, I'm going to use Enon to optimize this at the end. I did a little demo earlier on. I still export as an OBJ for that workflow because the Blender Bridge sometimes has some problems with the surface normals. I don't think it matters too much. Let's just get a sphere in here. Actually, let's get a sphere in here like that. B for new body. Duplicate it. G, C. Okay. And we're slowly getting somewhere. I think I'm just going to... I don't know how I'm going to do these fingers. I export as Engons so that I can get a more optimized mesh. If I export as tries, then you're just dealing with tries. So there's, yeah, Engons, you can like decimate it further. With tries, you get problems and you get more polygons than you need, especially if you're doing a game engine workflow. If you're just doing product modeling or something like that, then it shouldn't be an issue at all. That's not what I wanted. I think I'm going to have to build the fingers separately over here and then append them on. I have no knowledge about industrial design, to be honest, if I'm honest with you. I have purely taught myself as a game, like with an interest in game assets as a hobby, and after 6 or so years, this is where I am at now. So let's just do something real bodgy. Rotate that, scale it. Duplicate it. Am I going to be able to get that to work? Oh, it works on that one, so that's fine. Shift D. Scale. Oh yeah, there's another one there, so we can G. Scale. Rotate. G. Pull it up. And then we can maybe, well, I get a construction plan that I want there. Yep. And I can start to inset that. Okay, is that a finger? I have no idea. So let's just join all these together. Let's just fillet all the edges if it'll let us. Or one by one. There's a duplicate in there. The plasticity courses, I haven't done any of them, but I've seen some by, is it Nikita Kapushtin? Some of his ones look quite good in terms of, I know he's a Cinema 4D user, so not really my software, but some of those courses look really good as well. Maybe we get a real pointy fingernail. Okay, so GG. G over there. GZ. And let's scale that down. Control Shift D. Control Shift C. Right. Control Shift V. Flip it. Rotate it. And rotate it. Scale it. No, don't like that last one. Control Shift V, flip it, bring it in, rotate it. Maybe that doesn't need to be there. Maybe it needs to be like Control Shift V, flip it, rotate it. Something like that. Okay. Oh, where has he gone? Okay, we can just get rid of that there for now. Just checking in on the messages. Good convos, guys. Good conversations happening today. I'm very happy for you all to be here with me. And let's QQ that together. Yeah, rigid body physics is clunky, let's say, in Blender. You got to turn your computer into a fire hazard to get decent results sometimes. Great for scattering objects and stuff like that. Alrighty. I don't think I'm that happy with those fingers, but we can't be here all day. So I'm just going to see if have I got a hidden object in there? I do. Okay. And let's give this a little detail. Okay. And one on the side. Okay. Do I animate my models? Sometimes when I've got time, depending on the purpose. I try to make them animatable, like if I am making something like this, I'm not really focusing on it. But if we look here, I would want, this to be able to, like, let's say rotate based on that. Oh, hold on. Rotate based on that. With this one, this is just more of a play around, but I'd want to be able to pose them as well. So obviously all of these are separate parts. So if we rotate, based on that, you'd want it to be able to be animatable. So when you're modeling, you always want to think from a perspective as like, maybe later on, this is not for the purpose of animation. I don't use Maya. I did briefly try to use Maya when everybody said it was industry standard and all of that, and I was trying to train myself to get a job in the 3D industry. However, I know my way around it, but it's not my software of use for. I know it's better for animation and stuff, but I just never have really. I've got a day job and a family, and I don't have time to learn 100 million softwares. If I had a need to use it, but even like looking at like animating humans, like there's like some softwares like with some AI training, like Cascadeur, which are like a quick and cheap way to animate models without having to go through every keyframe or things like that. And I think I'll be more down that alley. But obviously, like, I'm not a cinema VFX animator or anything like that. So let's give these some. Let's give these something. give this a B for new body, and let's do a radial array like that for Q. And it's not on both sides, but F it. Can't be here all night. This is just a muck around. All right, so let's keep going with this. Not sure about those hands. Not sure how useful they would be, but let's have a look at our silhouette again. Let's get rid of our curve. Starting to get somewhere there. That actually does look kind of cool. I think it needs some kind of like weight down the bottom there. So let's maybe, what are we going to do? That is shady as hell. Let's try and fix this first. Okay. No, let's leave it as it was. As you were. No, I'm not going to bother with that right now. Yeah, I feel like he's a bit front heavy. Let's put like a battery pack in here. Bevel these edges, or fillet them rather. We did not want to do that. We want to do it on the normal. Let's SZ0, drag it up on the Z. Yep, so we'll duplicate that, drag this one down, get rid of this one, scale, scale. Okay. We can get rid of this curve now. Add some fillets and here. chamfer that out. And maybe I want this to be a bit. That's fine. Ooh. It's a detachable battery pack. Okay. Now these are going to be a bit of a nightmare. There we go. Something like that. Let's have a look at the silhouette again. Yeah. Looking cool. Might bring the arm around. I wish you could parent objects. I guess you can with groups, but yeah, getting there. I think these need to be a bit fatter. Sorry if I'm not chatting, guys. I'm kind of getting in the zone here a bit. Okay, yeah, that looks better. Okay. Now, yeah, definitely. I think the silhouette's really useful just to like see to get the the form. Make sure that the form is what you want it to be. Now, like, because I'm live streaming and I don't have like, you know, that much time, I'm not spending as much time as I would on these, but I do want to add a few more details before we go through to Blender. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mirror this again, make sure that that's all good, and those buttons are kind of cool. I feel like he needs to have more panel work like that, but I just don't know if I've got the time or the energy. But let's do something like, oh, that's not at all what I wanted. Let's go into 7 mode. Let's bring that up and use one of these guys. Join, and let's just rebuild that. That's not a great curve, but let's see what we can do with it. Oh, it won't let me join it. Actually, let's just do a square. Why didn't I think of that from the beginning? Okay, so let's do a, is this even going to work? Shift I. Oh, I've done that twice. Okay, maybe this will work. Maybe I should bring them all in a bit. I mean, I'd usually do something like this in the texturing phase, but if we want to get some geometry in there, let's hide all of these curves and see if we can inset these. Doesn't like those big ones. Yeah. That's okay. Something's wrong here. That's, yeah, that just got wonky. Let's just delete these altogether, actually. Yep, that worked. Okay, let's do the same up the top. Whoop. Yeah, I think Marcom, would totally benefit from plasticity. I've like watched his streams and everything for a while now, and he would like just with his whole like sci-fi thing. Like I'm not even like mostly a sci-fi person. Like I like doing fantasy stuff as well, and I like sculpting in ZBrush and all of that. But him definitely, I think plasticity would be just like a game changer for his workflow. Um, and I know that I don't know about like the Blender Bros or whatever, or if they've started using it or anything like that. But I also think that so much of their tutorials is just like cleanup, right? And this kind of takes that out of it to some degree. Um, Not completely. Obviously, you've got to do some cleanup. I want to keep going with this. I don't know if it's what I'll end up with, but I'm just going to keep plodding along. I've got them here. I just don't use them that much in plasticity. I mostly use keyboard shortcuts, so I think that they're useful, in Blender especially. But the modeling that I'm doing right now, I'm predominantly doing stuff with keyboard shortcuts that I'm more used to. Okay, are those fillets or chamfers? Those are chamfers. I want fillets. Oh yeah, this is going to be a tricky one. Is it going to let me do it? It does not like it. It's failing. Oh. Oh yeah, now maybe. No, I'm just going to leave that. That's looking pretty good, I would say. Uh, let's put everything and mirror it over and see how it looks. So we just choose everything here, except for that, and Alt X. Okay. Still not super happy with the back. I think I want to add a little bit more details to the leg. A little bit more of this kind of panel type stuff. Let's just go back a step and get rid of those again, and let's just add a bit of flourish to this leg here. Thank you for clicking on the subscribe button. Oh look, this with detail, the sky's the limit, but obviously just using the design philosophy of primary, secondary, and tertiary shapes. I'm probably not going to. So your primary shapes is like the form. Your secondary shapes are like these kind of panels and like the antennas and things like that. And then your tertiary shapes are all these little details. And I'm probably not going to go into the details today. Or I might use texturing to fake them. We'll see. I don't even know if I'm going to texture this today, but we'll get the normals baked out and marmoset and whatnot. Yeah, but sometimes I would put the details in the high poly, and like if I've got this, I could kit bash screws in, for example. If we've got oh, I think I just lost our robot. um, Give me a second. What are we gonna do here? Um, where are the quick save files? One moment, guys. Back in a sec. Okay, guys, I've got some bad news. That robot that I was working on, um, I lost it when I was opening this kit bash kit because I forgot to press new window and I pressed new file instead. Absolutely gutted. And I don't know where the backup for Plasticity is. I tried to open the backup and it opened this up, so lol. So maybe we can go through instead of trying to build that from scratch again because it's been a couple of hours now. Maybe we can go through using Enon on an older model, maybe that Walker, and I'd show you what my workflow with that would be. Yeah, absolutely gutted, Patrick. That was uh, why I should have saved it, but I'm just going to have a look and see if I can find a backup for it. No. 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 Yeah, I think I should have done the quick save version or whatever, um, or saved it earlier on. But yeah, maybe Nick's got it on file. All right, so like let's maybe go over to Blender and find a an older model, and we'll go through Ngon, and we'll see a workflow with that, and I'll do a full how I would use that. So let's find um, an OBJ that we could have a look at. Something with a few. Hang on, what's this? Oh, that was a Zeppelin I was working on. I don't know if that would be a very good one for Ngon. Oh, actually, maybe. Let's just. It doesn't have multiple parts though. Yeah, because the backup that got saved was the backup of the. I think that there does need to be a How do I do step back? What's that? Well, I opened a new window and I hadn't saved my file. That was the problem. But yeah, that I'm just gonna have a look around and we'll see if we can go to the actual. No, that's not it. Let's see if it's in the. Oh, maybe in the temp folder under plasticity. Plasticity backup. Backup production one. What's this? No. Um, in the temp folder again. Plasticity. Backup production plasticity. No, it's just saved the one that I opened up. It needs to have like multiple backups. Let's try that one more time and let's see if there's another area. Oh well, at least I'll keep this stream up because then I'll at least be able to look at what I made. Plasticity. Okay. Plasticity backup. Backup production 1. Yeah. No, this is a trim sheet. Oh well, if you want to Google it, I'll head over into Blender, and we can do an Enon thing. But there must be. Just would it be in the recycle bin? I've got no idea. Maybe on the Discord. All right, let's pull in a. Let's get a cube in there and. Okay, let's pull in an object. An OBJ. Actually, I think this. This gun turret's a good example because I've got a high and a low poly version, I believe. Yes. So let's pull in the low poly. Okay. So this is a lower poly OBJ import into Blender. And this is a good example because it shows if we open up our wireframe, or actually if we open up our object, you can see it's all just like really dodgy engons, which is great. And it's all lots of different objects. So we can do a multi-material object or whatever. So what I would do first of all is just start to hide pieces and see how these are all separate solids. If you wanted to animate those, then you would keep them separate, but we won't do that for this tutorial. So I'm just going to go Control 7, go up there, and we'll select all of these. Yeah, we'll select all of these. Okay, and we can join those into one object. And we'll just give that a name. Oh, we don't even need to bother naming it yet. And we'll select all of these. And we'll join them into one object. Okay, so we've got 2 objects. We can select all of these lenses because they would end up being glass of some kind. And we'll join them into all one object. And then we can select the rest of these. And I believe there's 2 parts to those, so we'll just select those as one object. And we'll Control on J those in together. And as you can see, our solids are coming down and down. Yeah, well, I think what happened when I opened the other one, it saved my new file that I opened up as the temp file, and then the original temp file was gone. So it's a fucking shame, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so we've got all of these, and we'll join all this into one just for the sake of being efficient. Okay, and we'll unhide our main body. And so we've got now several objects. So we'll call our main body main. We'll call this, I'll call that main. Rename it. Arm. Rename it. Camera. Rename it. And what are we missing here? Lenses. Rename it. And actually, let's just, for the sake of this, join those all into one, and we'll call that parts. Okay, and rename it. Okay, so we've got all of our objects. Solid 69. What am I missing here? This ball. Okay, we'll just join that into the arm. Okay, but I'd normally leave that separate, or you could separate it out against once you've things. So now that we've got all of our objects, we can create a low poly. Boom. And I don't know if you saw what happened there, but it did kind of improve in some ways. And I've used this particular object for tutorials before because it's got lots of different parts, which makes it a good example of how Engons quickly. So instead of having to like do each action for everything, we did it all in one go. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to minimize all of these, and we can just switch these off for now. Okay, and then we'll import our high poly. Okay, where are we? And we've got our high poly here. We'll import that. Okay, and once again, we want to just get all of the parts. And so I believe this was called main, so we'll call that main. Okay, rename it. We can hide that and go into 7, and I think we just select all of those, join them into one, and I think we called that parts, so we'll call that parts. Rename it, and then we'll grab our lenses, and we'll call those, what do we call them, just lens, and rename it. I hadn't saved it, so the autosave wasn't doing its thing. I hadn't saved the initial file, so that's my fault. I am totally to blame there, and I didn't follow basic practices. So we'll give that one, and what do we call this one? We called this arm, camera, lens. Hang on, let's just camera. Camera, rename, and what have we got here? This was arm, rename it. So this is a, we'll join it together and then rename it. And what have we got here? Oh, these are the lenses. Lens. I'll join them together and then call it lens. Okay. So if we make sure that we're not opening up any of our low poly ones. That should be the whole thing. And then we just need to select all of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all right. Create high poly. And it's created the high poly. Then we can unhide our low poly ones. Okay. And then we just export this as an FBX. Choose selected objects only. You won't be able to see this on your screen unless I turn it on. Can you see that? Probably got to do that. I don't know. Yeah, you should be able to see that. Anyway. So I'm just gonna create a new folder under documents, and we'll just call this gun. Easy to remember. And we're just gonna, with these two objects, we'll just call this gun turret. And I use marmoset to bake generally. All my spelling's gone completely to shit. And we'll export that now. And what we'll do now is we'll open marmoset toolbag. Take a few seconds. Oh, it's asking me to log in. Give me a moment. Won't be long. All right, and we're back. So yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. I can make another robot. So what we'll do is we'll bring a bake project into marmoset up here. Okay. And because what we want to do is we want all of our high poly meshes to go into this group here and all of our low poly meshes to go into this group here. So what we'll do is we come down here to go to the quick loader. And actually we just need to go back to Blender for a second. So we'll do that. And we need to actually turn all of our highs off. And with our lows, just select all of those. We want to get a couple of different texture sets. Okay, so we want these to be their own. So we go new material and we'll go parts. Okay, and with everything else, like these things, we can go new texture set, and we'll go larger parts, and make sure that that is linked materials, or the other way around, linked materials, and that should be good. Okay, and then we'll call this one main. And the reason that we do this is that we want, and this one's can be called lens. We want the baker, and let's just turn all of our highs back on and select everything and re-export it as an FBX. Everything's there. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to go back into Marmoset, and we're going to load in from documents. I think I just put it under gun. There we go. And that's loaded in our low poly. Okay. And you can see our low poly has got its surface normals. So unlike in Blender, like I'll show you, if we had triangulated, let's just turn our high polys off for now. If we go to our modifier and we turn off our data transfer, that's what the optimized mesh looks like without the surface normals being correctly done. So this is a super low poly version. It's 12,000 faces, but you can see it's still got a lot of the detail. If we look at our if we turn on our scene statistics, we'll just turn our high on and our low off, and we look at our scene statistics, that's like almost 1 million. And then we turn our high off and our low on, it's 50,000. So that's the difference. So back in Marmoset, here we go. So what we're going to do, and what you'll see in our bake project, it's already made us folders with all of our different, it's already made folders for us with all of our different objects in it. So you can see that the high poly and the low poly, the high poly is actually automatically hidden. You can turn it back on, and you can turn the, we'll do it with the main one. If we come down to main, and we turn our high poly on and our low poly off, you'll see we've got our higher detailed version there, but we want the opposite behavior. So now that we've got our bake project, what we want to do is multiple texture sets. You can see it's got larger parts, lens, main, and parts. We want to click multiple texture sets, and we want to go and choose to bake our ambient occlusion. For now, we might as well bake our object normals and whatnot. Actually, we just bake our ambient occlusion for now. Okay, and click on preview. It's going to ask us to put an output in. We'll just call this bake for now. And this should just work. So let's hit preview. It hasn't. Oh, yep. Where's our occlusion? So our larger parts. So that, let's take it a few steps back. Yeah, we'll call it back here. And if we turn our occlusion off, let's look at main. Have I got that turned off for some reason? Doesn't look like the normals. Let's see what this looks like. Let's just open Photoshop and see what happens. Oh, that was my thumbnail. Show file. Yeah, what's happened here? I have no idea. So let's just go back to Blender. Make sure everything's turned on. Export FBX. Gun turret FBX. Okay. Yep, that should be fine. Okay, let's go back and let's just start a new project. No. Okay. Add in our baker. Multiple texture sets. Load our object. Okay, so that's right. Hit preview. And yep, that should be good. And click bake. Ambient occlusion, click bake. That's very odd. That's not normally what happens. Hang on. Let's just take our main. Let's turn the normal map off. Why is it coming up with a blank normal map? Let's have a look here. Let's go to light. Let's just go estimate offset. Let's see what our occlusion map looks like. Yeah, it's just like not baking it at all. Interesting. Let's just try with something else. All right, brother. You have a good night. You can do all this in Blender, Patrick. It's just way much more of a pain in the ass. I'm just going to figure out why Marmoset's not baking. Maybe my GPU's died. So let's go over to Blender and let's just save this quickly. We'll just call this gun test. Okay, and then open a recent one. Okay, this is the what. Anyway, that's generally how you would do it. I might actually just change the subject for a second and show you something else that I made recently. Open recent. I made a random shape generator with geometry nodes. So check this out. So we'll go into layout and let's just start a mesh cube. Okay, and then under Hang on. Geometry nodes. Wait, what version of Blender am I using? Hang on, let's go to our... Yeah, it's there. Oh, there we go. So, and layout. Tools. Oh yeah, shape generator. Okay. So, all right, cheers, thank you. And so this shape generator has got a lot of different parameters. It's all made in geo nodes, so you can, if we go into here, you can see all of the different groups I made. So there's a lot you can do with it. So we'll just we'll delete this cube. Sorry, I'm just completely changing the subject now. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning here, or yeah, 10 past 2 in the morning. So go to Tools, go to Shape Generator, and then you can do Subdivide Simple. You can turn that off. You can change the iterations, and then you can change the offset, or you can go a random offset, and then you can like make random shapes. Okay, and then you can remesh them, and then you could turn the simple subdivision off and turn sub D on, and you can just make completely random shapes. You can mirror on different axes and it'll stay remeshed. So if I drag the mirror out like that, I don't know, this is just good fun. And I'm making some kind of weird island. Turn remesh back off. Up the subdivisions. Turn remesh back on. Turn simple subdivide back on. Getting random shapes. And more iterations. I don't know, I just thought this was a fun place to start. You can mirror it on the Z as well. This is going to start to crash my computer because I'm adding a lot more things. And then another one is, so that's a random object that we've got. And then I made another tool which is like a remesh optimal, so I can remesh it to be a bit more optimal. Or you could remesh it even, and then you get even remesh. And I've got this coming out now, and then I could take it into sculpt mode and start, I don't know, smoothing it out as a, and then, you know, I don't know, get in there with your crease brush. And I don't know, I just thought that was a fun little GeoNodes thing. Thanks, DJ Pergme. See you next time, and thanks for watching. Thanks for watching in. Appreciate everybody coming in. And another thing that was interesting is a circular array like in Plasticity. You can change the count, the radius. You can start to exclude some, and then you can make it real, and then you can apply the modifier, and then you can go and remesh it with that other tool that I made, remesh optimal. Boom, something random like that. Anyway, guys, I just want to, I couldn't understand why Marmoset was not baking. Let's have a look in here. Ah, maybe that is why. Let's just go and back to Blender. recent gun test. Don't save. Okay, so we've got everything here. Arm, camera, lens, main and parts. That's all there. Export as an FBX together. And we're just going to call this gun test FBX selected objects. Just copy and paste that so I can grab it again. Okay. Should be all good. Just thinking about it. Let's just start a new file, new scene. No. Add a baker. Load. Oh, we're going to do this one. Gun test. Okay, that should come in. Alright. And multiple texture sets. Ambient occlusion. There is a button here, ignore transforms. Let's just try that. And let's click bake. Yes. Save. Preview. And it's still not working. Is it a bug with Marmoset? It was working yesterday. See, open recent. New scene. No. Auto baker. Let's just like load something. Okay, so we got our low poly here for the trim sheet tutorial I did the other day. Let's turn ambient occlusion on. Preview. Let's get rid of all of these. Actually, we'll just call this 2. That worked. Must be something wrong with my other file. Thank you for your time, Patrick. Appreciate it as well. So it worked that time around. And then you could just make a add a texture project. Actually, we can go to and then we go to materials, link that in there. Now we can just slap something like that on there. I mean, real quick and dirty. Anyway, I might leave the stream there, seeing as I lost my robot and it was a bit of a failure of a stream. But I guess we had some fun building that earlier on. Thank you everybody for your time, and check out in the description the link for Enon Pro, as that is on sale at the moment on Blender Market. Okay, I'm going to leave it there and I'll say see you later.